Hi, it's Teresa from Dodge Nature Center, and time for another Nature to Go. Well, you're starting to see the leaves changing color, and when we know that it's fall, that brings in all the harvest things that are going on. There's apples that are being harvested. There's pumpkins that are being harvested, and that means all of those delicious fall treats that we enjoy so much. We like turning them into drinks. We like turning them into crisps and turnovers and pies. And then, of course, the things you put on top of them, like ice cream or whipped cream, all of these have something in common. We like them because they're sweet. But what makes them sweet? Well, it's sugar. And that's what I want to talk to you about this week. Did you know that a lot of the white sugar that we use in all of these wonderful foods we make in the fall actually is produced right here in Minnesota? Now, you could sweeten it with honey. You could sweeten these things with maple sugar. No, we're talking about regular, old, ordinary white sugar. And where does that white sugar come from? Well, it comes from this. This is a sugar beet. Sugar beets come from the same family as the red beet you might be more familiar with. You can see interiorly it has kind of rings, sort of like an onion. Okay, so kind of looks like, I don't know, part of a jicama. It's crunchy, and it's definitely sweet. It's very sweet. So how do we get from a sugar beet to the white sugar that we know? This is the time of year when the sugar beets are harvested. They need cooler temperatures because that helps to concentrate the sugars in the sugar beets. But it can't be too cold, it can't be too warm, or that'll cause the sugar beets to rot before they can be processed. A lot of the harvesting takes place at night. A machine comes along that cuts off the green tops, leaves those in the field so that they can decompose and add nutrients back to the soil. A truck follows along next to this machine because the beets are pulled out of the ground and they're sent up a conveyor belt to go into the truck. As they go up the conveyor belt, it knocks a lot of the dirt off so that it remains in the fields instead of being transported somewhere else. Once it's full, the truck heads towards the processing plant and a new truck pulls up to continue the process of pulling them out of the ground, shaking the dirt off, sending them to processing. This is one of the processing sites. They have been accumulating sugar beets here for about 3 days. These are tested to see what the quality of the sugar is in them, and then they're going to be taken to the plant where they're going to be made into sugar. That's a whole lot of sugar beets. But what's going to happen to them over the next 16 to 20 hours once they get to the processing facility is, first thing is they're washed to get more dirt and rocks and stuff off of them. Then they're sliced into French fry-like pieces. They're called cassettes, and they're soaked in hot water that helps to draw out the sugar that's in there. Then that sugary material is purified, and it's now a syrup that can be evaporated. And as it's being evaporated, it's being filtered. And one of the last steps is that it's spun in a centrifuge so that they can start to get the material to crystallize. And then it's at the point of where they get the sugar crystals. Leftover materials, like the pulp, are used to create animal feed. So there isn't a lot of waste associated with the different materials at the different steps in the process of extracting the sugar. I know this isn't normally one of the kinds of topics we talk about on Nature to Go, but I just found the whole process really interesting, especially in how much they do to not waste anything, that all of the products are used in a responsible, environmentally conscious way. So enjoy those sweet treats you have this fall, and remember that a lot of that sugar comes from right here in Minnesota. And maybe the next time you're up in northwestern Minnesota, in the Red River Valley area, you might spot sugar beets or the sugar beet processing plants. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Nature to Go, and we'll talk to you again next time.